Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. As promised, today I'm sharing the best and worst fragrance launches of 2023 so far. I always think it's really helpful and kind of interesting to keep track of when fragrances launch. That way it gives you a big picture of the year. You can kind of pinpoint what trends are going on in the industry. Going to begin by sharing some of my favorite new launches. I did not attempt to rank them. It would have been nearly impossible because they're so different. A lot of them are for different occasions. They evoke a different mood. But what I will say is that we have had some remarkable new launches this year. Still not sure if 2023 is going to end up being as strong, maybe even better than 2022. Of course, I will also be sharing my annual recap when 2023 is over. We're starting with the wedding collection from Kayali. This is a very notable launch for me, and it took me a while to get around to finally reviewing them. I completely blame the house, the move, and getting settled, all of that. When I finally unboxed these fragrances and tried them for myself, I was blown away. We have Silk Santal 36 and Velvet Santal 35. The hype was so real. I pretty much knew I was going to like them because the buzz, the excitement, everyone was talking about how amazing they were. I said I was not attempting to rank these, but if I had to choose, just, quick ask, I had to choose a favorite, Silk Santal 36 is just my kind of fragrance. I would choose this as my #1 favorite launch of the year so far. It is a pretty girl fragrance. It's sweet, but not too sweet. It's luscious, it's feminine, and it just smells like the perfect princess perfume. It's a fragrance that could absolutely be worn for a special occasion, like a wedding day, but I also think it could be worn every single day as that last accessory, that pick-me-up, that mood booster. This is the type of fragrance that just puts a smile on my face. This is how I want to smell. I cannot imagine myself ever getting sick of this fragrance. This was instant connection for me. I'm so sad because by the time I got around to reviewing it, it was already sold out. I double checked right before I sat down to film and it is still nowhere to be found. I haven't heard anything about a restock. I've signed up to be notified, but I really hope this was not a limited launch just to celebrate their wedding. I really hope they restock this fragrance because it is truly incredible, and I know the Kayali team is already working really hard on a new fragrance that they're kind of teasing us on social media. I'm gonna need them to stop what they're doing on that new launch. Yes, I'm excited too, but please bring us Silk Santal. This is an incredible fragrance, and it needs to be out in the world. It's beautiful. And then we have Velvet Santal 35. This is the more masculine version, or the groom of the two. I love this fragrance as well. I don't have that same instant visceral connection as I do with the Silk Santal, but I still appreciate it. It truly smells like luxurious velvet. It has that warm, fuzzy feeling. A great fall-winter fragrance. I think Silk Santal would be a year-round signature scent worthy. This to me just screams fall-winter. Perfect for layering, perfect for a cozy night out, a date night. It's also beautiful. If you love sandalwood, you will love this collection. Another huge standout for me so far this year, and again, these are in no particular order, was Juliette Has a Gun Lust for Sun. I think this is probably my favorite Juliette Has a Gun fragrance. I really like the line. They have some interesting fragrances, but nothing that really moved me where I felt like, whoa, that is full bottle worthy. I definitely want to wear that regularly. Lust for Sun is different because it's a tropical summer in a bottle type of fragrance, but there's a unique quality. It's tropical without being cheesy, stereotypical. It has coconut, it has vanilla, it has ylang ylang. It's a very floral tropical fragrance. When it dries down on the skin, it smells like a day at the beach. Even if you haven't left your house, you haven't seen the sun, like the most peaceful tropical vacation you could possibly take, this is kind of like a White Lotus fragrance. We have to talk about the flankers of 2023 and how amazing they are. I think usually flankers get kind of an eye roll. It seems like maybe a bit of a cash grab, uninspired. People aren't really drawn to them in the same way as a completely new fragrance launch, or at least that's how I feel about them. Let me know if you disagree down below in the comments. Unless I am a die-hard fan for a particular fragrance, I don't really get all that moved and excited to try flankers. However, the flankers of 2023 are truly some of the best fragrance launches of the year, including Black Opium. I believe this is the Parfum version. Gucci Flora Gorgeous Magnolia. The original is nice. I think the flankers are even better. This message goes out to anyone watching who considers themselves to be a Black Opium Eau de Parfum hater. I encourage you to visit your fragrance counter, visit your local Sephora, and try to find the parfum version and try it on your skin. Don't just try it on the blotter card. You have to try it on your skin. Let it dry down, let it open up, and then see what you think, because I was never a huge fan or had feelings one way or another about Black Opium, but the parfum is really, really beautiful. It is a vanilla bomb. If you love vanilla fragrances, you will probably really like this. I think this is so much better than the Eau de Parfum, or I guess this is the type of fragrance that I would definitely wear. And it is still kind of warm and sensual. I think this is a perfect fall, winter, date night fragrance. And I'm so excited for things to cool down or to take a trip somewhere so that I can wear this, because this to me is just cozy, sensual. I love this fragrance so much. This is a winner. This Gucci Flora Gorgeous Magnolia is another one, and I really like the original Gucci Flora Gorgeous Gardenia Eau de Parfum in the pink bottle. Really beautiful fragrance. It smells like a candied floral, candied white flower. If I had to choose, I think I prefer the Magnolia. It just has a little bit more of a wow factor. It has magnolia essence, dewberries, accord, and patchouli essence. I know patchouli is one of those notes that can be really off-putting. To me, sometimes I like it, sometimes I dislike it. I don't even detect patchouli in this fragrance. Maybe a little bit, a tiny, tiny bit. But even once it dries down, it's barely there to me. I really just smell the magnolia. I don't know what a dewberry smells like, so I couldn't say that that is really one of the prominent notes, but I'll take their word for it. It just smells pretty. All I know is that I really like it. It smells like a really pretty fragrance. And when this was first sent to me, because I did partner with Sephora on a campaign about fragrances, and I talked about this one, when they first sent it to me early, I wore it every single day for weeks, because if I was running out the house, I would just grab it. I wanted to thoroughly test it, make sure it was really good, but I just could not stop grabbing it, and it became my go-to fragrance. It's not quite as sugary sweet as the Gorgeous Gardenia, and I find it to feel a bit more elevated. It's just a little bit more womanly, a little bit more mature than the Gorgeous Gardenia in my opinion. More elegant, I guess is probably the better word. This is Chanel Chance Eau Fraiche Le Parfum, and this is My Way from Giorgio Armani Le Parfum. I like both of the originals. I think these are even better. When it comes to Chance Eau Fraiche, I like the original Eau de Toilette. I don't have it in my collection. It's a little bit more fresh green, a little bit soapy. I've always said it's kind of a fragrance for people who don't like fragrance. Sits a bit closer to the skin since it's Eau de Toilette, of course, and it's kind of that clean out of the shower, a little zesty brightness in the morning. Beautiful, but not the type of fragrance that I'm really going to get super excited about. This Eau Fraiche Le Parfum takes it to another level, and I was so scared that they would tweak it too much and make it really woody, and maybe it would start to lean more masculine, but that is not the case. The dry down of this fragrance is so nice. It is so elegant. It's still clean, it's still fresh, it's still citrusy, but it's not too green, it's not too tart or too bitter or too crisp, and I think it gives us a little bit more than just fresh out of the shower. It's a true fragrance for fragrance lovers. I'm officially an Eau Fraiche fan. I've always really loved Giorgio Armani My Way. So we have My Way Intense, My Way Floral, and now we have My Way Le Parfum. I own all of them. And this is my favorite interpretation. They changed the wood base note a little bit. So in the original My Way Eau de Parfum, I believe it's cedar. And then with the intense version, they went to sandalwood. And then with this new Le Parfum, they went back to cedar. And I think it does make a world of difference. When it dries down on the skin, you can detect the cedar wood, and it just gives it a little bit more of a sweet woodiness versus a smooth woodiness. It's feminine, intoxicating, slightly addicting, and kind of makes your mouth water a little bit. This is a date night fragrance. This is going to be beautiful year round, but definitely more evening appropriate. Now, these two fragrances aren't really flankers. They're just re-promoted, repackaged, kind of the same thing, kind of not releases this year, but they're still incredible fragrances regardless of what category you'd put them in. Creed Spring Flower and Tom Ford Cafe Rose. Cafe Rose used to be a private blend collection, and then they decided to make it signature collection, which is a good thing. I can't see anything wrong with this. I don't detect anything different with the juice itself. I have heard from other people who say they diluted the fragrance, it's not the same. To me, it smells basically the same. This is still an eau de parfum. I can't really remember if the original Cafe Rose was stronger. It's not the first time Tom Ford has made a decision like this, so I doubt they would tweak the juice, but they put it in a different bottle, and that means that this fragrance will now be available at places that only carried the signature line. So Macy's, Ulta, places like that where you're not going to see the private blend collection, but they still have Noir Extreme, will now be able to carry Cafe Rose. It's also a much lower price point. They're still expensive fragrances, but this is far lower in cost. And it's a beautiful fragrance. I think it does deserve its flowers. It never really received the attention it deserved when it was part of Private Blend. By repackaging it, by re-promoting it, maybe they're just breathing second life into what is one of Tom Ford's best feminine fragrances, in my opinion. It's spicy. It has rose, but a very edgy femme fatale type of rose. Sexy date night. It's a very romantic, seduce your man type of fragrance. I smell this and it just makes me think of getting dressed up, going to a nice dinner, candlelight, high heels, red lips, the works. And then Spring Flower from Creed used to come in the dark kind of magenta bottle. Now it's in this very beautiful light pink. I think the light pink is very pretty. I didn't have a problem with the original bottle. Still the same incredible floral fragrance. Just smells like a fresh bouquet, a garden party. I think this is a very bridal fragrance. It's clean, feminine, very classic. I think this would be a work-appropriate fragrance, office-appropriate, meet the parents. It has a little bit more of a buttoned-up, kind of refined quality to it. This is my wild card pick for my favorites list. Unexpected. I don't really hear people talking about this, and it's not the type of fragrance that I think I would normally really gravitate towards. And I'd basically all but forgotten about this fragrance until the other day. I was pulling out all of my 2023 launches, sniffing around, spritzing the fragrances that I hadn't tried in a while, and I thought to myself, I like this, but would I consider it to be a favorite? No, definitely not. And then all of the fragrances dried down, I moved on, I was doing something else, and I kept smelling this fragrance, and I kept thinking, God, that smells so good. What smells so good? And I was like smelling every part of my arm because I had sprayed so many fragrances, just trying to remind myself what they smelled like. And it was this. It was Sparkling Sugar from Clean Reserve. It's a light, simple gourmand fragrance. There is something about it that overpowered everything else that I had sprayed in that moment, but it's addicting. It's so simple, and yet it's incredible. Hands down, one of the most exciting beauty launches of 2023, Love Shack Fancy Beauty. So their first launch into beauty, 3 new fragrances. I love all 3. I will never forget the morning I saw the email asking for people to sign up to be notified. I was shocked. I had no idea this was in the works. Love it or hate it, they have such a vision for their brand, and I think all 3 fragrances fit perfectly within that vision. So of course you have the giant bow on top of the bottle, the beautiful print, it's very whimsical, it's incredibly feminine. It is unapologetically pink and blue and lace and ruffles, and I absolutely adore their clothing, their brand, and I love all 3 of these fragrances. Bohème is my favorite of the 3. However, Forever in Love and Moondance are also really beautiful florals. I can see myself picking these up in the near future, and I'm told that we might see more fragrances launched even before the end of the year. Similar to the Love Shack Fancy fragrances in that they smell like a whimsical garden party is the new Jo Malone English Pear and Sweet Pea. English Pear and Freesia has been a longtime favorite, and the English Pear and Sweet Pea, this is so pretty. It's a classic floral. It smells clean and simple, but it smells like a princess fragrance. This smells like a princess bride. This would be a beautiful wedding day fragrance. It's just light, airy. a little bit sweet. It reminds me of a tea party, maybe because I think of Jo Malone, London. Very happy-go-lucky. I smell this fragrance and I cannot help but smile and think it's going to be the best day ever. Ray of Sunshine in a Bottle. Here I have 2 new fragrance launches from Ellis Brooklyn, well, new this year. Apple Love, I just unboxed this and it just became available at Sephora, and Florist. And I really like them both. Florist is a beautiful, kind of straightforward floral fragrance. As much as I like this, and I love the pink bottle, of course, it's very Barbie movie, I'm not sure I would consider this to be one of the best launches, only because I can pretty much guarantee that 100% of you have something comparable in your fragrance collection already, as long as you like floral fragrances. But Apple Love, this one kind of surprised me because I don't usually gush over the Ellis Brooklyn fragrances. I think a lot of them are really nice. They're very pleasant and pretty, not bad, but not really amazing. They don't really move me. Apple Love is so different and it has such a unique quality. It's unlike anything else in my collection that this to me is a favorite. It's a new favorite, and I actually wore this the other day. I've been wearing all of the new fragrances that I just unboxed, and I was heading out the door to get my hair done, and I was like, let me just spray Apple Love, spritz, spritz, spritz all over. It's very light. Just like every other fragrance from Ellis Brooklyn I've tried, it doesn't have a lot of longevity, but I still really like it because the smell is really nice. It smells so good. I'm willing to look past it for this one fragrance, not any of the others. It's apple, it's peach, it's very luscious. When you first spray it, it has that mouth-watering, really juicy burst of fruit. But then as it dries down, you get so many other things, including vanilla, which I think is such a pretty combination. Now, these are 2 very nice fragrances that I'm just not quite sure about. I'm not sure where they land on the pyramid because I like them. They're both really pretty. But would I consider them to be best of the year? I don't know. Maybe they're best of a particular category. They're both light, sweet, gourmand fragrances that I would wear on a daily basis. We have Skylar Boardwalk Delight. This has cotton candy, sugar, vanilla. It's youthful, it's happy, and then Kayali Yum Pistachio Gelato 33. I really liked this fragrance. This one was polarizing. I think it's very pretty. It has so many edible notes. I would definitely say these are similar-ish, even though they don't smell the same. You would wear them for the same occasion most likely, and I think they're very nice. I did not forget about them. They're here. They have been represented. I have 2 more favorites here to mention, and these are not low on the list because they're not really my favorite. They are incredible fragrances. I did not rank this list. Sugar Leather from Une Nuit Nomade. This is truly one of the best fragrances, and it is so perfect for fall winter. It's sweet, it has a little leather, it's very ambery, sexy, sensual. This to me is fall winter, it's date night. I absolutely love it. It smells like caramel and leather. So it has that really nice, delicious, edible gourmand quality, but then the leather makes it smell really elegant and sophisticated. I just think of a sports car or a really expensive handbag. It's so chic, it's so stylish, it smells expensive. This to me smells like a very luxurious niche fragrance, and I love it. I remember when this was first sent to me, I wasn't quite sure because leather, it could go either way. I thought, oh, maybe this is going to lean too masculine, but nope. And my final favorite before we move on to the rejects is a double doozy. This is a little layering combination. Tom Ford Mer Mystère layered with Burberry Goddess Eau de Parfum. Together. You have this, wear them together. Incredible. And I really like them individually as well. Burberry Goddess is another vanilla bomb. It is just vanilla forward, different pieces and parts of the vanilla. Like someone asked me on my last video, what is vanilla caviar? And I had to Google it, but anytime you hear different types of vanilla, it's usually a different piece of the vanilla plant. Sometimes it's the planifolia, sometimes it's the pods. Caviar is the seeds and the pulp, I think, scraped out of the pods. And it's supposed to give off a very exotic vanilla aroma. I think they did a beautiful job with this. It might even be my favorite Burberry fragrance. Alone, I think it would be great, but I think layered with something else to give it a bit more complexity so it's not just vanilla would make it that much better. And Tom Ford Myrrh Mystère, this is really nice as well. It has myrrh, of course, a lot of woody notes, but it does have vanilla absolute, and I really love this fragrance so much more than I expected to. However, I don't picture myself ever wearing this on its own. I think if I gifted it to my husband, which I still might, depending if I'm feeling generous or not, he could wear this on its own and it would be perfect for him. But in order to really match my personal style, I would layer this. And the other day I did. I was too curious. I layered the Tom Ford and then I spritzed the Burberry on top, and it was such a pretty combination. This gives it that warmth, that elegance. It gives it that Tom Ford stamp of elegance. And then the Burberry Goddess gives it the sweetness. It's the pixie dust. It leans very feminine. So this together balances out nicely, and it's very fall winter evening. And Burberry Goddess, this is absolutely full bottle worthy. It is now time. We have to talk about the least favorites or the most disappointing new launches. And I hate disclaimers as much as you do, but it needs to be said. These fragrances are not bad fragrances. They aren't terrible. They aren't garbage launches. They just don't really work for me, my preferences. Maybe they didn't meet my expectations. And there are plenty of fragrances that I like. I appreciate them, but I would never wear them on myself. And that might be the case with some of these. As always, the only opinion that truly counts here is yours. So if you disagree with me, let me know your opinions one way or another on all of these fragrances down below. I feel like I get the best recommendations from you guys, but you are also not shy when it comes to fragrances you don't like. So if you have any least favorites, let us know. This one really hurts because I love this fragrance house. They carry some of my all-time favorite top 10 for life fragrances. Valaya is just not one of them, in my opinion. And I know I heard from some of you who really liked this fragrance. I can't get behind it. It's not bad. It's not terrible. I have not worn this since the review, and I think initially it smells okay. It smells good. And then as it dries down, it is just musk, and not in a really feminine type of way. It's a little bit too woody, too musky, too clean sheets, bed linens, a little bit soapy. It just didn't do it for me. And I love this bottle, and I love that they went with something white and it's sort of translucent, and I think it is meant to be just a light veil on the skin. I think initially I was really let down because I knew it didn't fit my tastes. Now I feel like I can appreciate it for what it is. It's just not something that I'm ever really gonna wear. My next least favorite, and these are not ranked either, Tom Ford Electric Cherry. This just did not work for me. And again, I think because this is another highly regarded fragrance house that has some of my favorite fragrances, I was kind of battling expectations when I first tried this. It has ginger. It's kind of tart. It's not terrible. I mean, it's not awful. But would I wear it? No. It's a little tangy, citrusy. Has that bite from the ginger. I guess that's the electric quality. I think for the price, you have to really connect with the fragrance. And I love Lost Cherry so much. I was so excited to see them expand upon the fragrance note. Electric Cherry is one that I could never see myself wearing. I think some of my all-time favorite fragrance houses had a bit of a flop era in 2023, but I know they will come back. I have all the confidence in them. This is a Roja. The Roja Taif Oud. Taif Oud. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. This has aldehydes, and it is very strong. It's very potent, and it's really what shines through in the fragrance, and it just singes my nostril hairs. It's floral, and it's powdery, and it's very aldehydic, and it's very reminiscent of a Chanel No. 5. With No. 5 in mind, I think you could imagine this doesn't really smell all that modern. It smells very mature, but then there's something almost acidic about it. I was hoping that I would learn to love this, and maybe I would love the dry down on my skin. I tried this the other night, and I knew I didn't love it. I wanted to make sure I was getting this list right. I sprayed it on my arm and let it dry down, And I immediately regretted applying this fragrance because it just smells not very nice on me. And even my husband was like, "What is that smell? Why did you spray that? I don't really like that." And I was kind of bouncing ideas off of him and getting his opinion on some of these fragrances, but he agreed this is just not the best. Now, this was a summer launch that had potential because I loved the notes. It has sea salt, lime, coconut. Could have been something really spectacular. It's dish soap. This is from Skylar. It's too much for my nose. It smells like very harsh lime, a very natural lime. It's sort of surprising because I find most of Skylar fragrances to be kind of light, more on the natural side, more of the minimal, just kind of spritz in the morning and go type of fragrances. I don't necessarily love them. They aren't really showstoppers, but safe would be a great way to describe them. This is not safe. It's just not very nice. It's not very pleasant. This is one that I actually don't like. Instead of just not liking it, I actually sort of lean more towards a dislike. All that's left are the really middle of the road, good but not great fragrances. And one of the goals I've always set for myself in my personal collection, and a goal that I have for you, is to steer clear from middle of the road products, whether it be beauty, fragrance, fashion, everything. The middle is where your spending dollars go to die. And I'll tell you why. When you purchase something that you do not like, it does not work for you, you're going to take that immediately back to the store, you're going to return it, and you're going to get your money back. When you purchase a fragrance that you love, perhaps you've tried it before and it wasn't a blind buy, it speaks to you, you're excited to wear it, that's going to be a fragrance that you love to wear, you're going to enjoy it, you're going to get your money's worth. Where I see a lot of waste, where I know I've wasted a lot of my own money, and where I don't want you to waste your money, are the products and the fragrances that aren't terrible. They're good, they're nice, but they're just not quite nice enough. You don't want to spend your money on things that are just good. Good is the enemy of great. It doesn't really move you, you don't get excited about it, but you already bought it anyways, so you're not going to bother returning it. It is so much better to carefully curate your collection of products to only things that you absolutely love, that spark joy, that move you, that you're excited to use on a regular basis. And especially when it comes to fragrance, there is something out there or something coming that is really going to speak to you that deserves your money, not everything in between. So that completes my list of the best and worst fragrance launches of 2023 so far. Hopefully you enjoyed this video and you liked hearing my thoughts. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, leave me your comments, questions down below. I cannot wait to hear your opinions on these new launches. And of course, if you have any favorites, least favorites, drop them in the comment section. We will keep the conversation going there. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be listed down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.